Hello friends, hopefully this comes out better than the last one with all the noise from the wind. I've got the camera in closer, which means that I'm going to be moving it around a little bit. But anyway, the purpose today, if you recall my last video, I introduced you to this. I gotta make sure, yeah, you can see it. Okay. The camera is only about 15 inches or so away from the object at the time. I don't want to move it back because just seems like the wind was killing me more. So I'm going to shoot it this way and we'll move the camera around a little bit. And why is because also, I remember my Etekcity. Okay? I'm curious to find out how long it's going to take me to do this. And so I'm going to do a test. I'm going to use the same canister of fuel. It says it's got 298 grams total weight. So we'll do that. I'm curious to just find out the difference in these two burners. It doesn't mean that one is no good or anything like that. It's more for my curiosity, but also for any of you that may be considering either the Etekcity from Amazon.com or Amazon.ca, or if you're considering instead the little guy. And it's not such a little guy, is it? The JetBoil. They both have their places. They overlap. So I'm going to run and get the water that I forgot to bring out from the house. I filled up a container with exactly 32 ounces. And I've brought my Etekcity 750. And I'm using it because it's got graduations on the side of it so we can see what's going on. Okay, I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, now you can see that I've resorted to treachery. I moved things. Okay, I moved it back. Hopefully that breeze is not going to affect it. Although, I say that and I get a blast on my shoulder. Okay, so, first off, the Etekcity. You remember well, right? Okay, this is the one that I just about destroyed and blew up a canister because I put a windbreak up and the wind ended up blowing the windbreak. So, and just to give me a hard time today, it's not wanting to click into where I want it. That's the problem, because I went and removed one leg when I removed the piezoelectric igniter. And so my thought is that we will use the same Etekcity that cools off quickly, so therefore should not be a problem. And we'll see what we can do here. I'm really curious. Okay, we're on now. Because I took out the piezoelectric igniter, melted, and I don't know if you guys remember, but it was down here just about where the rim is here, that that's where the button ended up. Okay, we'll do that. The Etekcity 750. Now let's see if I can do it without making a disaster, and I'm shooting for 16 ounces. Reading it backwards, of course. So I will turn it around. Exactly on the button. Right on the marker. If the table's level, we're doing good. And this says 16 ounces too, so we know we got it. Okay, so I have to ignite it with a lighter. The one thing about these is you just turn the valve a little bit and poof, it's going. Okay, clock, stopwatch. And I've not used the stopwatch on this phone before, so it will be a new experience. Okay, we put it on. You hit the timer and crank it up. And trust me, you can see the dial, the time. Okay. We'll break the wind a bit with this little pine tree. Meanwhile, we'll dig out the Challenger. Okay, we're at 2 minutes. We do have small bubbles. 3 minutes. And we have the start of a boil. I'm going for a hard rolling boil. It's definitely more than hot enough for making a coffee. You should be able to see some steam coming off now. But I want a rolling boil like I would want if I was boiling water to purify it. In other words, just calling it a boil is not enough for me. I want to see the action, the turbulent action. Yep. Okay. I called that at 4:15:90. Okay. Okay, the pot's cold. Actually, the handles have a little warmth to them, but not the pot. And we fill it up. Oh, exactly on that mark, right at the perfectly matched. Okay, now we'll go with this one. I guess we should reset, because that was 4 minutes 15 seconds. So we're going to start now. And we are running. Okay, it's 2 minutes. It's actually spitting droplets of water bouncing out when they break. Okay, I want to show you, I'm not used to boiling water in titanium, so those of you that are used to it will be familiar. Okay, what gets me is I can see bubbles coming off the sides, and this is way past. I'm going to stop this. Okay, now we've got the rolling boil. Wow. Now the other camera, the other one I would have had to let it sit. And I'm not sure if we actually have fogged up lens or not. Okay. Now I've got it set. I thought I put it on simmer. It's still going gently. Yes. That simmer is just bringing a few buttons up from the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to bring the camera around a little bit. Like that, okay? Okay, so a minute and 15 seconds faster, and it came to a full hard rolling boil. Don't you think it's time? If you've boiled the water, then I think we deserve a coffee. Now, just in case you're interested on what kind of witch's brew here I've got. Let's bring it over. Okay. Nescafe, needless to say. There you go. Sweet and creamy French vanilla. Yeah. It is a favorite. Okay. Put it in. Okay, so my curiosity got the best of me. I just had to test it. And there we have it. So it took 3 minutes, basically. 3 minutes, and it was on a hard rolling boil, but it took me a few seconds to shut it off. Actually, you know, it was probably exactly half the time it took for the Etekcity. Not knocking that one. If you were a person that's, I guess, on the Appalachian Trail or any of the big trail hikes, and time is critical to you, that minute and a half could mean a lot to you, I guess. To a hobbyist like myself, no. The main advantage of this stove when I bought it was the fact that it's got the regulator on it. It's a regulated stove. It's got the igniter on it. And yeah, the Etekcity, that goes back in my survival bag because it works just fine. Can't knock it a bit, you know. No matter what stoves we look at, there's always going to be the ones that tend to work a little bit better than the rest. Now, possibly when I threw out the igniter, the piezo igniter, I should not have thrown out the other leg, but I was finding everything, pots were rocking on it with the 4 legs. Just like a small table with 4 legs and it rocks a bit, so you fold up something and put it underneath it. So many old-time restaurants, they used to resort to that. And yeah, and that was how the country folk did it, you know. Well, I can remember when I dated my wife, that was exactly what happened in the small town restaurant. People folded up napkins and put them underneath. Okay, so the Etekcity, definitely my summer stove. This one, more versatile. I can get a lower boil. The Etekcity, that valve is so sensitive, you just barely crack it on and you've got a flame. I prefer this one here for that regards. Now, yeah, it's pretty well cooled off. And so, now that I've got this all figured out, as far as which one is actually quicker than the other one, no problem. I'll be using both of them this summer, and we'll keep you up to date as we go. I'm only going to be taking the JetBoil, aka this one, whenever I do any holiday trips or anything like that, just because I can simmer as well. I didn't measure the fuel used. It doesn't really bother me too much. Again, I'm not a long distance hiker, so anyway, I'm just happy to have some good stoves. The three of these, you know, along with my WinPro 2, do me just fine. And there we are. Finished, tested, and definitely ready to go. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please, if you would, like, share, subscribe. Comments, always welcome. Suggestions, that's how I learn. Okay, now you saw that fly down. We had rain the night before last. The trees are all budding in comparison to 3 days ago. 3 days ago, hardly a bud was on these trees. Now, they're all budded up beautifully, except for, of course, my oak tree. And that's the way of it. Springtime is definitely sprung here in Paradise Village. And it took that hard rainstorm. Rained hard all night, or a good part of the night, and out it came. And no, between our units there is a hollow, no water standing. It all soaked in. So, take care. God bless. Talk to you soon. Ted's clear.